First off, thanks a lot for 100 subscribers. This means giveaway time. More info at the end of the video. Alright, it was expected with 44% pick rate and 90% presence in pro play, and yes, KAISA is pretty strong right now. It makes sense that KAISA gets nerfed. So time to give my thoughts. But first, let's see how Twitter reacted to these changes. Well, from what I gathered, it's a bad nerf that does nothing, so thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, let's calm down. Are these nerfs that bad? Let's go over them first. Q is getting his AP ratio reduced by 10%, from 30 to 20. It's important to remember that it's not simply 10% less AP damage from a full Q. No, every single missile is losing 10% AP damage, which in total would be a 37.5% AP damage nerf. At level 13, with Static, Nasher, and RB, KAISA is losing around 70 damage from a full isolated Q, which is, not gonna lie, a pretty big sum of DPS loss for an ability you're gonna use a lot. Then the W is getting its CD refund go from 77% to 75%. Again, it looks small, but it still has some impact. It's around an 8% CD nerf. It will be harder now to proc passive at max range, and it's even worse for bot lane since it takes longer to get W max there, due to shared XP. And finally at 30 HP nerf because apparently AD was OP. So what about builds? Will the change have any impact on them? Overall, not much should change. No KAISA playstyle or build was scaled from this change, so if you built static before, you can continue. There's only two small changes I would do to make things easier. If you play Mayamune KAISA mid or top, to reduce the impact of the W change, I recommend going for the ability Haste Rune Shard. This will help pretty much negate the nerf while not losing too much DPS. Secondly, if you play static into Ludens, then the issue is you simply lack haste. To keep poking at a good range, I recommend going for Liandry's instead of Ludens. This item has always been a good option if you didn't want to go for Ludens, since it got some really good damage. The only issue is that you cannot get W evolution early, unless you fully build Liandry's plus Storm. But if you're going for static, you don't really have a choice if you want to keep poking at a max range. Just remember that next patch you need to get around 88 haste to proc a passive at max range with 2 Ws, which is easy to get for Mayamune, but a bit harder for static. With that out of the way, what's my opinion on the nerf? There's a couple things. First off, I like the fact that the nerf is really targeting hybrid KAISA, which is what people are building in majority, without hurting solo lane or Mayamune AP KAISA too much. By far, hybrid KAISA is the biggest victim of the change. Like I said before, at 3 items you're losing around 70 damage on your Q, which is an ability you will spam a lot in teamfights, so it adds up pretty fast. This doesn't mean that Mayamune KAISA isn't hit, because it did, with around the same amount of damage lost on Q. But since this build is about spamming W's, it's not as impactful apart from limiting your burst. But overall the nerf is not too mean towards KAISA, which is the second thing I like about it. Riot is not trying to kill the champion or any other builds, just trying to reduce her power. So don't worry, AD, AP and hybrid KAISA are not dead and will still be good in the current meta. Now me personally, I would have preferred nerfing the passive instead of the Q, so even builds like static Ludens that don't care as much about Q will still get hit in the early game. But to be honest, both nerfs work fine at reducing KAISA AP hybrid power. Finally, is this nerf enough to reduce KAISA presence in solo queue and pro play? Well, maybe. It's totally possible that this nerf is good enough to put back KAISA into a good place, but I have my doubts. Because thing is, builds like static Ludens wasn't that much impacted. Now yes, I know this build is not that popular, but there's always a chance that people transition from hybrid to just AP KAISA. Remember the crown meta. This is why, I would have at least added one more nerf to the list, which is nerfing the AP ratio from static. Let me explain. Static is like a cheat code for AP KAISA in a way. You see, there's a reason why we build Mayamune when we go first strike AP KAISA. Because if we didn't have Mayamune, we would never be able to clear wave fast enough, limiting our impact on the map so much. And Mayamune has clear weaknesses, since 1, it's a weak item early lane, 2, has 0 attack speed, that means if I miss my W, that's most of my damage gone, and finally, even if I have my Q evolution, if we are facing Baron minions, our clear is not strong enough to deal with them easily. Introducing Static. Since this item can clear wave even Baron ones so easily, it gives KAISA access to an item that not only has good early power through things like Noonquiver, but also has attack speed, meaning that even if I miss my W, I can still somewhat fight. TLDR, this item reduces AP KAISA weaknesses, but if its AP ratio was nerfed, it will slow down AP static KAISA even more. since the more time KAISA spends clearing waves, the less time she has to stall game by simply throwing Ws. And it's not like nerfing static AP would hurt many champs. Let's take the biggest user of static right now according to Rioters. Vayne doesn't build AP, Sivir doesn't build AP, Quinn doesn't build AP, Zeri, although she has an AP build, in grand majority she builds AD. Even the champs that could be using AP, like Teemo or Kayle, don't build it. Only KAISA really abuses the item for its AP ratio. Thus, nerfing it will not hurt any of the champions I said all that much. This will enable Riot to hit static Ludens without nerfing KAISA kit even more. And there we go. It was a quick video, but I just wanted to share my opinions on the recent changes. Feel free to leave your opinion and your feelings about the nerfs in the comments below. And with that, giveaway time. The next goal will be 150 subscribers, so make sure to drop a sub, it helps me a ton. Since I want as many people to be able to participate, here's what I will do this time. I'll be giving away or 1 epic skin for NA or EOS players, or 1 month of Discord Nitro for anyone. So if you're from EU or NA, you can choose between the skin or Nitro. And if you're someone not from this region, though you can't win the skin, you can still participate for the Nitro itself. Like before, type I participate in the comments and I will pick one winner in 5 days on August 1st. And with that, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.